Hello, Dinara.
Hi, James.
Welcome back, everybody. So now we are going to be looking at, well, Happy New Year. That's the first thing to say to you all.
Yes.
It probably will be shown in February, probably, but Happy New Year to everybody. So it's the first video of the year that we're doing. And today we're going to be looking at the words for and since, when, and how long. Okay. So, and we're going to be looking at that. So let's start off with the examples. So just remember, we say for and since to say how long something has been happening. But the difference is we use for plus a period of time and since plus the starting point. So the start. So you could say we've been waiting for 2 hours. We've been waiting since 8 o'clock. So with since, you always need the point in time for it to start. And whereas for, you express how long, so the duration. So for, you may use with 2 hours, 20 minutes, 5 days, a long time, 6 months, 50 years, a week, ages, years, millions of years, if you want, so, you can use any of them. So, but it's a period of time. So we've got some examples here. Sally has been working here for 6 months, not since 6 months. I haven't seen Tom for 3 days, so not since 3 days. Sally has been working here since April. So in other words, from and with since, you remember you need a starting point, so it might start with 8 o'clock or Monday or the 12th of May or April or 2001, Christmas, lunchtime, we arrived, I got up, doesn't matter what the starting point is, but you need that starting point. So you had the example, Sally has been working here since April. I haven't seen Tom since Monday. So, if today were Wednesday, for example, then you could say, oh, I haven't seen Tom since Monday, or I haven't seen Tom for 2 days. So that's the difference. And I think this is a good one to cover because it's quite a common mistake I've seen.
Oh, really?
Well, it depends on where the students are from. So I have a lot of experience teaching German students because I lived in Germany, of course. And they have a word seit, which is a cognative since, seit, it looks like S-E-I-T, seit. But they can use it in both a for and a since way. So you can say, seit Januar, for example, or you can say, since January, or you can say seit 2 Monaten, so for 2 months. So this is a mistake I've come across a lot, but it depends what and this goes to show that the difficulties or the challenges in a language will always be related to how your mother tongue and your native language, how they interact and how they will be what you find difficult.
Yeah, and there are languages without prepositions.
Yes.
I suppose they struggle even more.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's so many different ways that languages function, and they can be very, very difficult. So, some languages are incredibly simple in some areas and then very complex in others. And so that's why I also sort of say that there's no such thing truly as a as a difficult language. It's more a case of, as in for everything that's difficult about a language, there'll be something that's easy. So it was like what we were saying in a discussion about Mandarin, for example, Chinese. So the tones and the writing system are quite difficult, but the tense system, there isn't a tense, so incredibly simple. Spanish pronunciation is pretty easy, but the subjunctive is quite challenging. So, German, the inflection, the inflections and the case endings are difficult. The adjective endings are difficult, but the tenses and the spelling are quite easy. So that there's always counterbalances. Some things are easier, some things are harder with every language.
Yes, and And there are also different reasons why people study certain languages. Obviously, most people study English as the second language because it's the international language, let's say. And some study Spanish because they have other reasons, let's say.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's an important language. It's a beautiful language, you know, so as in some people, they study things for family reasons. Some people study things for cultural reasons. Some people study things to read their favorite authors. You know, you get some people who study languages. So, you know, people always have their differences in why they want to learn something, but it's, you know, as in always don't give up, because speaking as many languages as possible is very good.
Yes.
And it's good for your brain as well. So, yeah, exactly. But anyway, let's continue with the next part. So we often leave out for, but not usually in negative sentences. So they've been married for 10 years, or they've been married 10 years.
Really?
You can say either. Yeah.
I did not know about that.
They've been married 10 years. Yeah, it's a teensy weensy bit informal, but you know, as in you hear it. Yeah. So, but you couldn't say the next one. They haven't had a holiday 10 years. You know, that would just not make sense. You know, so they haven't had a holiday 10 years. It just sounds a bit strange.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, and then the next one. You can use in instead of for negative sentences. So, for example, they haven't had a holiday in 10 years. Okay.
This thing I've heard, yes.
Yeah. And it means 4 years. You know, so I haven't been there for 10 years doesn't sound so good. You know, so I haven't been there for 10 years. In 10 years. Okay. We do not use for all and all together. So you don't say for all day or for all my life. So I've lived here for all my life. It's possible you hear that in dialects, but the standard versions of the language, no, that's not a thing, exactly. Now, if we look at, so we're going to compare when, which can often go with the past simple, and how long with the present perfect. So when did it start raining? It started raining an hour ago, or at 1 o'clock. How long has it been raining? It's been raining for an hour, or since 1 o'clock. When did Joe and Kate first meet? They first met a long time ago, or when they were at school. How long have they known each other? They've known each other for a long time, or since they were at school. Okay.
So let us remind you when we ask when, it means that something finished. So action finished, right? Not exactly.
Yeah, but not always. It's more, you know, because when were they playing football? When were you living there? You know, so, you know,
I see.
Like action is very slow. It's just that we wouldn't often use it with the present perfect, though. So when is the party? You could use it with the present simple for the future sense. So when is the party? When's your birthday? You know, when's your birthday, for example? When is your birthday? You know, when's the play? You know, so you can use it in that. So, but you can also use it in not necessarily something that's over. It could even be something that's not happened yet. But the thing about how long is that you're focusing on a duration. So so we'll often use it with the present perfect. Oh, we've been good friends for years, for example. If you say that for years, because starting point is in the past, it continues to the present. So it's with the present perfect. So whereas when it focuses on the point in time. And that's why it can often be about completed actions, but not necessarily. Could also be in a future sense. Now, the next examples we've got here are, we say it is, you know, so a long time since something happened, 6 months since something happened, or it's been. So it has been. So just remember, although this isn't the point of the exercise, that short version at the end of it's, or he's, or she's, that can be either is or has. You have to just know by context. which one it is. So it can be either. So, for example, it's been 6 months. There I know that it is has. It's a long time since something happened. There I know it is. So we've got some examples of these. So it's 2 years since I last saw Joe, you know, or it's been 2 years since I last saw Joe. So it's, but you would always say, I haven't seen Joe for 2 years. You would never say, I don't see Joe for 2 years. You just wouldn't you wouldn't say that. So it's ages since we went to the cinema, or it's been ages.
Sorry, I have a question. So it's 2 years since I last saw Joe. Here it is 2 years.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that we can say that.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, I would, I think I lean more towards the present. But, you know, you can say both. Yeah.
Interesting.
You know, so, and it's the same with the next examples. It's ages since we went to the cinema. It's been ages since blah, blah. We haven't been to the cinema for ages. How long is it since Mrs. Still died? Or how long has it been since? So, yeah, exactly. So that's, yeah, so exactly. So those are the examples.
So as usual, you'll be able to remember it faster, of course, if you complete exercises after explanation in this book. All the answers you can find in the end of this book. And but the best way, of course, is through practicing speaking skill, and for that you can find us on our social medias and write us. We'll help you with that, and as usual, please share these videos with everyone who you think will find these videos useful, and see you in our next episodes. Bye guys.
Bye take care.